Welcome to The Explainer. All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about how AI is no longer just some sci-fi buzzword. It's actually becoming a must-have tool for anyone trying to survive and thrive in the crazy, high-stakes world of collectible trading cards.
So, just to give you a sense of the scale we're dealing with here, look at this number, $7.8 million. That's how much money a single Shohei Ohtani baseball card brought in just one day. Yeah, 24 hours. This isn't just a hobby anymore, folks. It's a full-blown financial ecosystem.
And with that kind of money flying around, the people running these businesses aren't just game designers. Nope, they've had to become what we're calling market architects. Think about that. You're not just making cards, you're literally designing a whole marketplace, carefully creating scarcity to drive up demand and value. And let me tell you, that new job title, it comes with a whole new set of massive challenges. So you're probably asking what's changed. The short answer? Pretty much everything. The whole business model has been completely turned on its head. We've moved away from the old, super risky way of doing things to something way more dynamic, but also, as you're about to see, way more complicated to manage from a money perspective. Okay, this table really lays it all out. The old blueprint was a huge gamble. You'd sink tens of thousands of dollars into a massive print run and just hope people would buy it. So much risk. But now, the new blueprint treats these brands like a live service game. They use print on demand, so your inventory risk is practically zero. It's all about creating a steady, recurring stream of revenue. You're not just crossing your fingers and hoping for popularity anymore, you're engineering that value from day one. Now, this new model is definitely smarter, right? It's way less risky at the start, but, and it's a big but, it opens up a whole new can of worms when it comes to the finances. We're talking about inventory where the value is bouncing around every single minute. You have to figure out your cost of goods sold, what you actually paid for a card, in real time, for every single sale. And then there are the tax rules. Oh man, are you a hobby or a business? The difference could cost you a fortune. Your old school spreadsheet it can't handle this. No way.
And that is exactly where AI comes into the picture. Look, this isn't some fancy luxury or a neat little tech toy. For the modern market architect, AI is the essential toolkit. It's the game changer that's built to solve precisely these kinds of messy modern problems.
Really, it all comes down to one massive question that everyone in this business is wrestling with. How on earth do you manage millions of these assets with prices swinging wildly, all in real time? And how do you do it without hiring an army of people? Well, the answer is to start thinking about AI a little differently. I love this quote. Think of AI as your new, tireless employee who never takes a break. It's perfect, right? It's the best employee you'll ever have. It works 24/7, it never makes a typo, and it can crunch numbers on a scale that's just impossible for a human team. And its main job? Tackling the three biggest headaches: inventory, pricing, and accounting. So let's break down the actual toolkit that's making this all happen. You've got robots like the FI's Batch 9000 handling the physical sorting. Then there's visual AI that can just look at a card and know what it is. For pricing, you have tools like TCG Sync that are constantly updating in real time. And to handle all the bookkeeping, there are AI-first accounting platforms like Digits AGL. You see how each piece of the puzzle fits together to tackle a specific part of the job? First up, let's talk about taming that physical chaos. Inventory. Imagine having mountains of cards. Instead of paying someone for hundreds of soul-crushing hours to sort through them by hand, a robot like the FizzBatch 9000 just does it. Then visual AI scans it, knows the card, figures out the condition, and bam! That physical nightmare becomes clean, perfect, usable digital data for all your other systems. Okay, next up, mastering that insane market volatility. Let's be real. Trying to manually track the prices of thousands of different cards is just impossible. You can't do it. But these auto pricing tools, they do it for you 24/7. They're constantly tweaking your prices to make sure you're making a profit. And here's the cool part. The AI can even spot these little profit windows, arbitrage opportunities, between different websites that a human being would just never, ever see. And this is the real game changer. What this means is AI completely flips the script on your relationship with the market. All that crazy, wild price volatility that used to be a massive risk, suddenly, it's not a threat anymore. It becomes your competitive advantage. It's a profit opportunity that you can actually plan for and capitalize on. All right, last piece of the puzzle, accounting. the not so glamorous part. But check this out. Studies show that finance teams can spend something like 60% of their time just on repetitive, manual grunt work, data entry, matching up numbers, all that stuff. That's more than half their week spent on boring, mind-numbing tasks instead of, actually thinking strategically. And that's where these new AI native platforms are a total game changer. We're not talking about some old accounting software that just had an AI sticker slapped on it. No. These systems are built from the ground up with AI at their very core. They have these little intelligent agents that are basically working 24/7, automating all the bookkeeping and reporting. This frees up your actual human employees to do the important stuff, the strategic thinking that's going to grow the business. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds amazing, super powerful, but also maybe a little intimidating, right? Like, where do you even start? Well, the good news is, it's not as scary as it seems. You can actually break it down into a really simple 3-step plan that any startup can follow. Step 1. Look at what you're doing right now. Just audit your own process and find the biggest bottlenecks. Where are you wasting the most time on manual data entry? Step 2. Find the right tools. The key here is to pick platforms that play nice with the systems you're already using. You want a smooth integration, not another headache. And finally, step 3, and this one is so important. You've got to invest in your team. Train them, get them comfortable, and create a culture where AI is seen as a helpful coworker, not a threat. A great way to do that is to pick a few AI champions on your team to lead the charge. So, you've got the right tools, you've got a clear plan. Where does that leave you? Well, it brings us to the future of this entire industry. And in that future, AI isn't just a cool trend, it's the absolute new standard for how you run your business. And the impact? I mean, it's just undeniable. You're automating all that chaos, which leads to huge boosts in efficiency. It lets a tiny startup team operate at a scale that just a few years ago would have seemed completely impossible. And you're doing all of that while slashing your costs, because you're getting rid of all that expensive manual labor and all the errors that come with it. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's this. In today's live service market, AI is not a nice-to-have. It's essential. It's the engine that takes your biggest risks, like that crazy price volatility, and turns them into your biggest opportunities. It automates everything from sorting cards to filing reports. And maybe the coolest part? It gives small startups the kind of power and strategic edge that used to belong only to the giant corporations. And that brings us to the final, really important thought. This whole thing, it's not just about trading cards. Not at all. This exact transformation is happening in any industry that has to deal with volatile assets, tricky logistics, or just massive amounts of data, which, let's face it, is a lot of them. And it leaves every single business owner with one very important question to ask themselves. Are you really ready to compete in the age of AI?